Okay, day three. Day three is actually command line part 3. We're going to cover vim and cat. These are two commands that allow us to modify files in command line and dump out what's inside of the file. Keeping that end in mind, having our product out there in the real world, we're going to have to log in remotely to servers and modify files. This will allow us to configure the server to work with expectations. It'll allow us to put our code most effectively on those servers and maintain them as they grow. Think of vim and cat as two commands that will be in our tool belt that will help us work remotely and on our own local machines. These commands are really hard to learn, but they will allow us to work more efficiently on our local machines and be more interchangeable on a team. Vim is a tool that I use very sparingly. It's not my go-to text editor, but it does allow me to accomplish tasks that a normal text editor wouldn't let me, like Atom or Coda or Sublime Text. Those are graphical text editors. Vim is a command line based text editor. This is the last stepping stone of command line before we jump into Git. Think of today as wrapping up a few-day journey on just becoming aware of the things that we need to know in command line to help set us up for success with Git, which will allow us then, in turn, to be able to collaborate more effectively on a team. When we're inside of a folder, and this folder has a file, we need to be able to modify that file or see what's inside of this file. This is a .txt, which this extension is what it's called when it's past a dot. This is an extension. These are patterns in which we can understand other things. So we have these groupings, we have a file, and an extension. The txt signifies that there's just going to be text inside of this, and it's not an image or a video or some sort of other file format. Because it's a .txt, we can infer that we can modify this text, which typically you might use something like Notepad or Pages or Microsoft Word. But in this case, through command line, we can use a command called vim. Vim, so this is our command. And what do we want to modify? Well, it's file a.txt. What this will do is perform an action, and that action is opens in Vim. What Vim will look like is this. We're inside of work. I'm going to change directory inside of work, and ls, I could see file a and file b.txt. If I want to modify file a.txt, I can use vim. So I type vim space file a.txt, return. This opens this interesting interface here. You see a bunch of tildes on the left, and at the bottom you should see what file we're currently in. Vim has modes. It's unlike a graphical user interface because we have to use just the keyboard to modify this. I can't click different places. See, I'm trying to click. Instead, if I type the letter I, it says insert. This denotes that I can now change text inside of this. And I'm changing text inside of my file A. When I'm done changing text inside of this, I press the escape key, colon. You can see at the bottom left, it's colon, and then WQ for write and quit. This will save my file and quit out of Vim. So if anytime you are inside of Vim and you need to get out, you can press escape and then colon WQ if you want to save your changes, or just Q if you want to quit. CAT file a.txt. You can see the output is what's inside of my file. It's this awesome command that peers inside of this file and allows us to see one level deeper. Just like typing ls allows me to see inside of this folder. I'm listing out the folder. Cat, I believe, is shortened for concatenate. It's this programming term for taking text and putting it together. Cat file a.txt. This allows me to, again, see it. These are commands that allow us to peer in and visualize what we're doing to ensure we're doing the right thing. So here we are, very basics of Vim and the power of cat, seeing one level deeper inside of files to understand what we're modifying. I personally use Vim at least once a day, doing things with Git. That will be what we'll cover tomorrow, and it'll allow us to more effectively explain why we're making the changes that we are. This is a stepping stone between those basic command line tools that we've covered before, jumping into more advanced command line tools like Git, allowing us to document why we're making the changes and what changes we've created.